Okay. What is going on? LBHT Crew B. What is going on?
Not a great week in Pantherland. But you know, that's why it's the preseason. They got one more coming, and then it's on to 17-0. So things are looking up.
Well, as we discussed beforehand, this is why I wanted to talk about this upcoming game, and why it's a little bit more important than most preseason games, because while it's still preseason, your backups and whatnot have to show a little fight in them, right? And we're going to get into details, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's going to be a much better performance this week. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the scare at Ravens practice. Lamar, is he okay? Will he make it through the season? Because if not, you know, we might as well just start looking for another team to watch, because we ain't going anywhere.
You're not loving Cooper Rush?
Not loving Cooper Rush after today. I'm sure not. All right, listen. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So wherever you're watching us, make sure you hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio portion of this comes out on Thursday at lunchtime. So we hope you're enjoying your lunch break. Make sure you give us a 5-star review, because we're trying to grow on those side of things. And if we look a little more professional, if it feels a little more professional today, it's because we got a producer. Shout out to Adelia. Appreciate you joining us. Newest member of the team. She's going to make a professional out of us yet. All right. We've been fighting it at every turn.
Yes, thank you very much for coming on board. And you, as I said, you probably noticed we were only 2 minutes late today. That's right. Thanks to Adelia. And next week we're going to be.
And the 2 minutes is 100% my fault. She was ready to go, and I was like, not yet. It just feels too professional.
This doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right. I need 2 minutes just so they know. Yeah.
You know what the problem really was? I don't know if you remember this. Long time ago, probably over a year ago at this point, we would be on at 7:15 every single week. And somebody came in the chat and they said, I appreciate you guys because you're here on time every week. And since that moment, we have not hit our start time yet.
That's
not
true.
Once.
That's true.
Way to jinx it, chat. Thank you.
Well, it's kind of like our name, Lunch Break Hot Take. We used to do these podcasts meant to go out at lunchtime. And we did it early on the audio side, but by the time we got to YouTube, we're like, nah, that's not going to work. But the name we're going to keep.
Yeah.
All right. Who we have in the chat? We got Bazel 86 Ghosts, the first member, of YouTube members. And yes, we are doing YouTube memberships for now. We have a limited agreement. I wouldn't say partnership. I say agreement with YouTube for now. All right. So that's one way that you can support. Patreon.com/LBHT Show is another way. But appreciate you, Bazel. Says, glad y'all never early. Thank you. Well, who wants to start a show early? If you're expecting a certain time, it's better that you're there and waiting than you tune on your TV and the show's already started.
10 minutes. Who wants that?
Who wants that?
We do the Lauryn Hill program over here.
Yes. Ravenville in the house. What's going on, Ravenville? We got Jerry Green. Salute from the Southern Ballers Show. Appreciate you. Game Too Easy. Salute. We got Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. What's going on? Says, what's up, everybody? And LBHT right on time. That's right. Because whenever we start, it's right on time.
That's right.
And there's Adelia right there in the chat. Says, hey, everyone. Salute to you, Adelia. We got Tay Got It. What up? Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy's always here on time. He is always here on time. Appreciate you, Jeremy. We got our guy, Suge Knight 1323 over on Twitch. Suge Knight 323 on YouTube. All right. Host of the Steel Conspiracy, which is now on Good Friends, Better Rivals Network. All right.
And also featuring Adelia.
Also featuring Adelia. Yeah.
So it was some Steelers talk. I don't think they're not really keeping up the conspiracy side of it, not doing the Ravens talk so much anymore. You know, Suge tries to suppress that side of his fan. He doesn't like that to come out. But they talk of other NFL news.
You know, a year from now when the channel blows up, right? And they got 10, 20,000 subscribers on there, and Suge has this show that's getting, a ton of Steelers fans on there, and they're loving it. We could pull out a little fun fact. Did you know that half of that show is actually a Ravens title?
That's right.
That'll be fun. D Weezy's in here. It says late, but here. And as a Patreon member, I can justify ordering my pizza. Salute. Yes, if our membership, YouTube membership or Patreon membership, $5 starting out. Okay, we have other tiers on Patreon. Well worth the price of admission. Okay, you get the overtime show, which is a whole nother show after this show. You get access to our Discord channel, and if you want a nice shiny coin like this, that's for the $10 tier members. Oh, everything went black. See that? There we go. Yes, we offer a lot. But if times are hard and you have to make some financial decisions, completely understand. Mm-hmm. But if that decision involves ordering DoorDash, that is a bad decision. Do not spend your money on DoorDash. Okay? You know what they do online? Noodles and Company. You guys ever heard of Noodles and Company? I love Noodles and Company, right? They put something in my app, right? Little reward points, and they say, "Hey, you got enough rewards to do 0 delivery fee." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to order some food and have it delivered for free." And I'll throw a couple dollars for a tip because like these drivers gotta get paid. That fee doesn't, they don't get any of that fee, but I'll put a little money towards the tip. The tip, the delivery fee is supposed to be like $3 or whatever.
Yep.
They subtracted the $3 and then added $2 for a service fee.
Yeah. You're being served.
But if I go to pick it up, there is no service fee.
Well, that's because they're not serving you at that point. Then you're picking it up. I wanna put it out there. I respect your opinion, obviously. But Jose's views do not represent the views of Lunch Break Hot Take, as I use Uber Eats and DoorDash probably 3 times a week at least.
Don't do it. And you spend an extra $75.
It hurts every time, but you know what? Listen, when you live somewhere where every decent restaurant is 40 minutes away,
I understand.
You got to do what you got to do. Okay, and listen, shout out to the drivers for Uber Eats and DoorDash, Grubhub, all of them. You're doing God's work. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Some of you are. Some of you steal my sandwich, but we don't want to talk about that. I had to make sure that dude never showed up again. But the rest of you doing God's work.
Facts. Shout out to Felipe Marino. Appreciate you coming through. Just Aloe. We got Pay the Bills in the house. Salute to all y'all. Appreciate you coming through. D-Weezy says he feels triggered. No, man. No, it ain't about you. It ain't about you. Okay. You're one of the founding members. He is the founding member.
Yeah.
Okay. D-Weezy was a member of our 99-cent membership back on what was it called? Anchor.
I didn't even know they had memberships on Anchor until we got the email saying Derek signed up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
We appreciate your support throughout the years, man. All right. We have a lot to discuss, and we're not trying to be here 2 hours. So let's get this show started. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B and Akole have a Black History fact for you.
This week on the LBHT Black History Fact, the Atlanta Black Crackers were a Negro League baseball team that emerged in the early 20th century, representing both athletic excellence and the struggle for recognition in a segregated America. They began in 1919 as the Atlanta Cubs, organized by black businessmen who recruited players from local HBCUs like Morehouse and Morris Brown. By the end of that first season, they rebranded as the Atlanta Black Crackers, a deliberate nod to the city's white team, the Atlanta Crackers. This naming strategy was common among black teams, aiming to assert their presence in a sports world that often ignored them. Over the years, the Black Crackers competed in leagues like the Negro Southern League and briefly in the Negro American League. Their standout moment came in 1938 when they won the second half of the Negro American League season. Unfortunately, due to scheduling issues and league disorganization, no final championship was held that year. Financial challenges were constant, forcing the team to alternate between official league play and barnstorming tours to survive. They played at Ponce de Leon Park, but only when the White Crackers weren't using it, highlighting the racial inequalities they faced even in logistics. Despite these obstacles, the Black Crackers were a beloved part of Atlanta's black community, especially around Auburn Avenue, a hub of black culture and business. They gave fans a team to rally behind and proved that black athletes could shine just as brightly as their white counterparts. Though their story was long overshadowed by the White Crackers and later the Atlanta Braves, those who saw them play remembered them as one of the finest teams Atlanta ever produced. Their legacy is one of pride, perseverance, and a powerful reminder of the talent that thrived despite segregation.
All right. Salute to that Black History fact. We did the Cowboy Crackers last week.
Yes.
And they described what that came from. They didn't tell where that name came from, but I'm pretty sure. And shout out to Bazel for gifting 5 memberships. Salute.
Thank you, Bazel. Appreciate it.
Who became a member? We got Urban, we got Hendo from the Road Pod, we got Spiritual War Exposed, we got Delvon, and we got Big E3. So
right.
thank you, Bazel. Bazel really hooking people up. Huh?
I don't think Hendo needs that. We should probably take that one back, give that to somebody else.
Wow. It automatically distributes it.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Brodny is my enemy today. Okay, sure. But I'm pretty sure that name comes from cracking of the bat, right?
That I'm not 100% sure on. As Just Al asked in the chat, the white team was called the Crackers. I'm assuming that's where it comes from. But
that's what I'm talking about
in general. As I understand it, just comes from cracking the whip. That's the only actual origin that I've heard of that. But I assume that you're correct for the baseball teams. I don't think they would want to. Yeah.
They said it was a direct nod to the white team in Atlanta. Yes, no, it was like it derived from that team, but that team name, I'm guessing, because isn't that this like what they say when
crack of the bat?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
While that was playing, there was some breaking news.
And I saw you look at your phone and the face that you made.
From Adam Schefter. The Kansas City Chiefs have traded Sky Moore. If you don't know who Sky Moore is, he's a wide receiver they drafted a couple years ago who was going to be the next big thing. Never panned out, but they traded him to the San Francisco 49ers. No word on the compensation just yet, but Sky Moore, Sky with 2 Y's, by the way, because Sky wasn't unique enough.
Because why ask why?
I guess so. He's on his way to San Francisco. Hopefully, a change of scenery will do well for him. But the Chiefs clearing out their wide receiver room a little bit.
You see the potential with him, right? Like that's you don't see a potential with them. I think I see some potential with them.
I mean, listen, when you say see the potential, I see somebody who has in the past caught a football and then turned around and ran forward. I don't see him doing it with any great consistency or better than anyone else.
B does not like giving out credit whatsoever.
I give credit all the time where it's due. I'm not gonna say that Sky Moore looks like he could be anything in the league. Like, he's been there for, I believe, 3 years, hasn't shown anything, and they just dumped him.
All right.
Well, let me not say dumped him. Maybe he went for a first. I don't know. Okay,
there you go.
They haven't said yet.
Yeah. So.
But if I'm guessing it was a conditional 7th.
All right. Okay. So where do we want to start here?
Oh no, I'm sorry. Here's the compensation. I apologize. The compensation for the Sky Moore trade is a round 6 and 7 pick swap. So they didn't actually even give up anything.
What's the significance of a pick swap, especially in the same rounds?
It's not the same rounds. It's 6th and 7th.
So one gets these ones. What's the significance?
Yeah. You move up a few picks in the draft, and we don't have the animation going because we're trying to figure out how to get this working with StreamYard. They don't play nice with Streamlabs at the moment, but we did get a Cash App from Noah. Thank you very much for the donation. He says, "Mi hermanos." Again, stop calling me that until you trade me Tedero McMillan. Till then, we can be primos, cousins.
You know what? You get this right here. There you go. Yes. There you go. You get that.
Thank you very much, Noah.
Yes, that's the Park Heights strut that he's doing right there. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate it. Salute. Okay.
We're going to start off with some Panthers Texans recap from last week.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Panthers Texans dumpster fire all the way around. Bryce Young played 2 series. I do not believe he even completed a pass, except he did complete 1 pass to the Houston Texans. That one got called back on a penalty, but he got pressured. He scrambled out of the pocket and he threw it downfield to Xavier Legette, and he was about 10, 15 yards short of where it should have been, and it landed right in the chest of a Houston Texans defender. Fun fact, we talked about Xavier Legette needing to go out there and show what he can do since he got himself kicked out of the first game. He was not officially targeted in this game. So that's 2 weeks into the preseason, 0 catches for Xavier Legette so far. Looking great heading into the regular season for last year's first round bust. Outside of that, Ike Ekwonu got to do better. Has to do better. I understand it's Will Anderson, and Will Anderson is one of the top edge rushers in the NFL, but you can't let him just push you back and run by you like that. The line in general, Damian Lewis was hurt, and I don't believe Taylor Moton played. I'd have to check on that, but they needed to clean a few things up. Not real concerned about the line overall, except for Ike Ekwonu in that left tackle spot. He absolutely has to step up from what we've seen over the last couple of years.
This is it. This is his contract year, right? And he's looking to get.
I believe this is the year they have to make the decision on his option.
He's looking for a big payday, and he has. Yeah, this is huge. He didn't play bad last year, I don't think.
No, he wasn't terrible. I mean, he did take a step forward from his the prior season, but it's still not to the level that you would expect from a guy you drafted in the top 10 to be your franchise left tackle.
Yeah. Andy Dalton, man. It's over. It's over. I joked about it, about how he needs to sue the organization for workman's comp, okay? Because he got hurt on the job. He had a car accident, okay? A car accident where I believe he was struck by one Bryce Young to make sure he didn't play any more games. He has not been right since that car accident. I mean, he's fallen down on pump fake screen passes.
Yeah.
He's
been perfect since then, and that car accident made him realize that he needed to reprioritize things in his life, and now he's just a happier individual, and he knows that this is just a game; it doesn't matter, especially since he's never going to get to play.
So we have a clip, right, where Tedero McMillan torches. Who was it? Is it
Derek Stingley?
Derek Stingley.
Yes, one of the top corners in the league.
Right, and Andy Dalton he's played long enough. He's professional enough to make that pass to a wide open wide receiver. And but let's just look at the clip. Do we have that labeled? Okay, there we go. There it is.
See Tedero on the out and up, and he's got a couple steps on Stingley, and then he turned around and was like, "Why is the ball already bouncing?"
That is, oh my God, that's if he can't do it anymore, don't waste your time with him just for veteran experience. Like, he's cooked.
Yeah, and it's go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
It's really irritating. Like, I like Andy Dalton. I was always a fan of Andy Dalton, even back to his TCU days. But if you're, like you said, if it's over, it's over. Go home, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like he's not taking it that serious, right? Like, he's just kind of, okay, I'm still here. I'm gonna play out the rest of my deal I'll play it as long as they'll have me around. Of course, right? If you're gonna pay somebody millions of dollars, they'll chill at your facility for however long you want them there. But you look at that, and then you look at guys like Vinny Testaverde, who I was talking to Hendo about the other day. Vinny Testaverde could have been out of the league for 6-7 years, sitting on his couch doing nothing. And if an NFL team called him, he would walk onto the field and he would make that throw 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Some guys just have it. Some guys don't. I think Andy had himself a great career, considering his physical capabilities. He's not an overwhelming athlete. He doesn't have the strongest arm or anything like that. But he had himself a great career, and now it's just kind of like whatever, man.
Well, all right, yeah.
How do you pump fake and land flat on your back? How does that even work physically? Like, these are the most coordinated people in the world. How?
Andy and Cooper are on the same level. Jesus.
I don't know about that. Cooper would have hit Tedero on that one.
Yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have. Cooper ain't looking great out there. I think he'd have made that pass though. But look, Jay, don't take it personal. Jay takes everything personal with the Panthers, man. Everything. Okay? Like relax. He's done. You don't need to fight Andy Dalton's battles anymore, because ideally, get ready. They signed Bryce Perkins. All right. He is there to save you all. He is there to save you. The MVP of the, what do they call it? UFL? Is it UFL?
Yeah.
MVP of the UFL. We're going to get a good look at him in this game coming up, which is why we're going to talk about the defense, how the defense needs to play better in this game. But this is something that you need to look for in the game coming up. He needs to get out there and play, because who was the other quarterback on your team?
Jack. I'm blanking on his last name now.
Jack, not going to make it. Yeah, Plummer.
Yeah, that's not nice.
You don't want him as a backup either. Bryce Perkins has an opportunity to go out there in this game and impress and lock down the backup spot, not the third string, backup. Jay says the starters are fine, but if Bryce were to catch the Richardson injury bug, then I'm worried.
Yeah, I think that's what you're seeing with Carolina in this preseason. There's a lot of optimism around the team, because Bryce Young played great the second half of last season, right? Xavier Legette, is coming into his second year. You expect him to be better than he was as a rookie. Jalen Coker played well as a rookie. He looks to be taking that next step. Jimmy Horn, everybody's excited about Jimmy and what he can do. Tedero McMillan, the top 10 pick. You assume that's going to be their number one receiver for quite a while. Hunter Renfrow coming back off of his illness. Looks like he's back to 100%, and the slot menace that he was back in for the Raiders. So they have the O-line. They've got Chuba Hubbard. They brought in Rico Dowdle from Dallas to really solidify that backfield. They drafted a couple of very highly thought of edge rushers in Nick Scordon and Princely Umilan in the second and third rounds of the draft. But once you get past that front line, there's not a whole lot there. The defensive line, they went out and they signed some guys in the offseason. I think they're pretty solid on the D-line. They don't have any starting linebackers, really. No proven starting linebackers, and certainly no depth. They're okay, I think, at starting corner and safety, sort of okay, but no depth behind those guys. No depth at tight end. Nobody has stepped up to even take the starting spot there. And like Jay was alluding to, if Bryce Young goes down, just because he has the same name, I don't think we're transferring abilities over to Bryce in that second slot.
Pay the bill says two Bryces are better than one. So
did it
there
twice. So Bryce, they did it twice. All right, okay. Evil Lamar. They still got Adam Thielen, who's probably he's probably gonna slot in as their number 2, at least initially. But I'm hoping that either Leggett or Coker or even Hunter Renfrow kind of steps up and takes that mantle early in the season.
Yes. Coker is playing like he's going to be the number 2 guy. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. But again,
Jay says we also have the Bryson at wide receiver.
Yeah. It's getting to be an issue. It's like the NBA with every other player named Jalen.
Yeah. So
except Carolina's having to go out of their way to find guys named Bryce.
So Andy Dalton is out in this game.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Plummer and Bryce taking the snaps.
Now I do want to mention they did say that if this were a regular season game, Andy Dalton would be playing. Like he's okay.
Sure.
He's okay, but there's just no point in putting him out there.
Right.
To answer the question here, I don't think that Bryce makes the 53. Andy Dalton's going to be the backup. Bryce is not an NFL quarterback. We've seen him. They sold it as the UFL MVP, which is great. Congratulations to him. That's a great achievement.
He also played in the league before
but he played in the NFL. He played for the Rams. He wasn't very good. Now, obviously players can get better, players develop. Hopefully, he's gotten better since then. But I suspect he will be on the practice squad, and Andy Dalton will be the backup in Carolina.
So you think there's nothing he can do in this game if he goes out there and shows that he has a solid command of the offense? You don't think that because that's really the only difference.
Back on Dalton because of one game.
That's really the only difference at this point, right? Like ability, Bryce has more ability. That's it's really just knowledge of the playbook. How familiar are you with the playbook? Are you gonna go out there and make the wrong reads and all that stuff, right? I'm more comfortable with this guy because I know he knows the playbook. But if Bryce goes out there and shows that he has a good command of the playbook, I don't know, man.
But you're not showing that against NFL talent, which is why I don't think that no matter what he does in this game, it's not going to move Andy Dalton off of that spot. They're going to have to see Andy Dalton go out there and be Andy Dalton before they decide, hey, we got to move on from this guy. And I think that they're probably comfortable with the idea that they can waive Bryce Perkins and get him back on the practice squad. If they do like what they see there. So, who knows? Maybe they are willing to make a move. I think this is a Jack Plummer replacement, not an Andy Dalton replacement.
Well, then he still makes a 53-man roster, right? Because you're going to carry.
No. Plummer's not going to be on. No. Most teams only carry 2. But he won't be on the 53. He'll be on the 53 plus practice squad.
Okay, but he makes the team in some capacity.
I think there's a good shot at that, just not on the 53-man roster.
Okay, and we got a Streamlabs B. We got a donation, and the tipper is shout out to StreamYards. Says you could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Right back to me. Hashtag they always come back. Thank you, StreamYard.
Yeah, appreciate it. Kind of hostile considering, but
There we go. Yes, 45 watching, but only 23 likes. Come on, we can do better than this. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you, Adelia. Let's get those likes up, please. We're up to 48 now. Every week it's starting to creep back up. Those views starting to creep back up. Football season is almost here. Mm-hmm. I love it too because we always every YouTube channel, it doesn't matter what genre it is, you have your high season, you have your low season, right? Where views dip. Obviously, in the off season, views are going to dip, which it should. You guys should be outside doing other things, and you shouldn't be glued to the TV. You shouldn't be glued to your phones. You should be outside. Okay, we expect that. But it's always funny when they creep back in here, act like they've been here the whole time. Oh no, I was here watching. No, I watch every show. No, you don't. Yeah. And you shouldn't. Go enjoy life.
Okay, well, I'm gonna disagree. You should watch every show, but we know you don't. It's okay.
Or listen. You can listen. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Go read a book. How about that?
Yes. Speaking of books, we have a book club. All right. If you're into books, we give our Patreon members all kinds of perks. The YouTube memberships, that will be open to you as well. Just let us know. I also got to give you guys a link to the Discord. I'll drop that in the members only post. So just be on the lookout for that. If you want to join our Discord, it'll be in there. If you want to join our book club, that'll be in the Discord. I finished the book that was suggested in the group. It seems like nobody else finished the book though.
That's not true. Jay, last time I asked, Jay said he only had 100 pages left.
Jay, how many pages do you have left?
I'm betting that Jay's done.
I'm betting that he's not.
Okay. Well, we want to shoot for everybody being done by September 1st. See?
Oh, he did finish.
There you go. Have some faith in Jay. Have some faith.
Jay. My bad. I'm sorry.
Everybody wants to finish by September 1st, and then we'll schedule a date for the talk about the book and the picking of the next book.
I'll never doubt you again, Jay.
Well, I mean, don't tell lies now. All right.
Yeah, the Bills can take that bet. Too late. Too slow. All right, what we got next?
There was another game this past week. Some team, Baltimore, they played some America's team. I don't know. The Cowboys out there. It is. Ravens and Cowboys. Nobody watched this one. Nobody cared about this one. But I know that Jose's a big fan. He loves it when Cooper Rush straps it up and gets out there and does his thing. So, Jose, I'll let you give your impression of what you saw this past week.
The only thing I love more than Cooper Rush going out there and throwing pick sixes is Devin Leary out there. You know, just slinging the rock. I mean, it gets
Devin can sling it. All right, like you laughing. You don't know where it's going to go.
I appreciate it. I appreciate him trying to get targets to LeJohntay Wester because I want LeJohntay Wester to play well. I want him to get good looks. But on that particular play, the cornerback ran the route for Wester, right? And at no point did Wester show that he was open. Why are you throwing that ball?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned him because I was going to ask who you thought stood out and who didn't. LeJohntay Wester for me did not have a good week.
Nope.
He had at least one drop. I want to say two. They tried to get him involved, and it just was not happening. He's looking like if he makes the roster, that's going to be as the punt returner only. Don't be looking for him to make any kind of contributions on the offensive side of the ball.
Oh, for now, he has to hone his skills, but I think there's potential there for sure. But
returner, but right now it's punt return only for LeJohntay.
Yes, yeah. He needs a lot of work. Now on the offense side, I told you Carson Vincent, the left tackle, stood out. I think he did a good job. I think Rasheen Ali played pretty good. Defense is where it really stood out for me. I think defense as a whole, I think everybody played well because they didn't give up a touchdown. The only touchdown that was scored for them was the pick six, I believe. They gave up a couple of field goals. That's what I want to see, right? Like we need to be deep on the defensive side of the ball because that's where we put so much of our investment. So I want to see all those guys ball out. Now, Adisa Isaac, unfortunately, he got injured, and he's going to miss a little time. Yep, thank you. Yep, Adisa Isaac, he's out. There's a post. Did they put that one up there? I think it's in the post. How many weeks they said he was going to miss? I can't remember. It came from Jeff Zrebick. But yes, Decent Isaac had a ligament damage after his elbow injury versus Dallas on Saturday. He'll need surgery and will return mid-season. That is that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
He's now listen, we're deep at edge rusher, but he was having a good offseason, a good preseason. You know, I would like to see I would have liked to see him in the rotation. But we also have Malik Ham, right? Also have Ojabo, you know. So that's a position that I'm not worried about at all. Killer says opens it up for Clowney. No, they shouldn't be bringing in anybody. We got guys on the team.
They have more than enough guys already at that spot. It does suck for Adisa Isaac. But like you said, I thought the defense played well, very well overall. The other person who played well, and the only reason I wanted to talk about this game is because we did our video or show where we predicted our breakout players. And I do believe that I said the offensive breakout player for the Baltimore Ravens was going to be Devontae Walker. And Devontae Walker, locally known, or I guess not even locally, but nationally known as Tez, went out and put on a show. Okay. We got some clips here. Just want to go ahead and run through a few of these clips, maybe 3 or 4 of them, just show off what Tez was putting out on the field this past week.
Okay, what we got here?
We got Devontae creating separation, catching the ball.
Nice. Like that.
Nice.
Like that. Like a little out route.
Like
okay.
It.
All right. We got
another out route. Speed out. Making those hands catches.
I've seen a lot of cushion from the DB there.
Hey. Well, yeah. You know why? Because the dude runs like a 3.5.
Yes, I know.
Right? I know. Roll the clip. Let's see another one. All right. Tez Walker out here dominating in week 2 of the preseason.
Okay,
and specifically because your boy, everybody's favorite, LeJontay Wester. I ran a punt back for a touchdown. Couldn't catch a hold in this game, and they said, "You know what, Tez? It's on you." Yeah, you know what Tez Walker did? He rose to the occasion. Okay, and he did me proud. All right, he made me
proud too.
You didn't pick him.
I didn't pick him.
You stay over there with whoever it was that you said is going to be the breakout player. I hope
he proves me wrong in the regular season. Okay?
I said Tez Walker.
Now let's be clear. When you said Tez Walker's going to break out, how many yards is that?
It's not relevant. I said he was going to be the breakout player on offense.
Yeah.
I said what I said specifically was that Tez Walker will have around 400 to 500 yards, 5 or 6 touchdowns, and that he would not necessarily overtake, but kind of split that third receiver role with DeAndre Hopkins. Just Allo, I do not hate Tez Walker. And this is something I want to address, all right? Because this has been a theme with this show and you Ravens fans for years. Just because what I said was when you picked him, that wasn't a good pick. He wasn't going to contribute. I said that the only reason everybody was kind of on the Tez Walker train is because he got screwed by the NCAA, and he did. But when they picked him, I said that he's not going to contribute for the Ravens as a rookie, and he didn't. Okay, He didn't contribute. But now it's year 2, and now I think he's ready to contribute. You talk about him having cushion. That's because he's a burner. All right, and if you don't give him cushion, he's going over top every single play. Whatever, Killer, you are the biggest hater in the world, man. You've been studying with Hendo for the past couple of years.
He doesn't see it.
No, I'm not even responding. Never mind.
I think when we're critical of this team, emotions run high because you hear how great of a job EDC is doing and how this organization is top notch, and we point out some of their flaws, and you think we're just we're hating. We're not hating, right? We're pointing out some of the issues that we have when you have a team that's ready to compete for a Super Bowl. You're spending a lot of draft picks on guys that can't help you win a Super Bowl right now. Maybe some of them develop into guys that can help you down the road, and that saves you some money because you don't have to go out in free agency and get guys. You don't have to pay the guys that you already drafted. But I don't care about that, and you shouldn't care about that. You should care about your team trying to win right now. When your windows open, you need to be all in. This is what you play the game for, right? Later on, you can worry about that stuff. But drafting 12 people doesn't help your team right now.
it helps them next year when they're going to take a machete to this roster
Maybe if
to get into the cap.
But that's the problem we have, right? Because how many times have they done this? This isn't the first time they've had more than 7, 8, 9 picks. Yeah. And we say, hey, this is going to help the team in the future. And then it turns out the guys that they drafted weren't good enough to make the roster.
Yeah, not immaturity issue. What immaturity issues are you seeing, Killer Cam?
Kill says Tez has talent, but I'm also seeing immaturity issues. I don't see that. I'm not sure we saw that. Lazy run blocking and pouted when he doesn't get the ball. I didn't see the pouting. I don't know, and I haven't heard anybody report that. I could be wrong. I haven't seen that. That's all I'm saying.
And that is not at all an uncommon thing for wide receivers.
Both things.
Wide receivers want the ball. They don't get the ball very often. Even the best ones don't get the ball very often, and they want the ball more.
Do you want your wide receivers to smile when they don't get the ball? I don't. I want them to be mad if they think they're getting open and they can cook their defender. I want them to be vocal, right? I want divas on the team. Yes, Stream Elements, thank you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, but that can get him off the field. Yeah, in Harbaugh's world, yes. Because Harbaugh doesn't like strong opinions. Harbaugh can't manage egos because he's not a leader of men like people keep saying he is. Right?
Hopefully this is the last year of John Harbaugh anyway.
Yes. I want him out of here. Jay says, just blasphemy from all of you to hate young Tez. Wow.
That wasn't me, Jay. That wasn't me.
Big Red says, I saw him get upset at the bad throws here. He would have scored, but he should be bothered by that. Yeah. There's nothing. I think when we see wide receivers hold quarterbacks accountable for their mistakes, we see it as them throwing a fit or throwing a temper tantrum or whatnot. But the quarterback, they'll jump on a wide receiver real quick if he runs a bad route.
Mm-hmm.
Right? These are all grown men. Everybody holds each other accountable. It's not personal. Like, it's only here where if somebody says something or they're a little vocal, they say something that might be going at the coach or somebody on the team. Everybody clutches their pearls like, oh, how could you say that? Oh, you're gonna ruin the locker room with that attitude. I thought we were professional. I thought we were all adults.
Yeah.
You can't handle criticism.
And listen, we all do it, but you got to be careful making judgments just based off of like seeing their body language and things like that. Famously years ago, Des Bryant blew up on the sidelines screaming at people. And, that turned into a few days of demonizing Des Bryant. And then it came out that he was giving a speech to motivate his teammates.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't people. It was Tony Romo, right? Because we had to protect Tony Romo. And he's screaming at Tony Romo. Look at it. And then the audio came out and he wasn't screaming at him at all. He was just saying, yo, let's go. Yo, we got this. And Tony Romo was like, yeah, you're right. Right. Like it was nothing like they portrayed it in the media. So absolutely, you got to be careful with that because none of us are lip readers, or maybe there is one out there in the chat. I don't know, but we're not. What else we got to cover? Did we hit all the points there? Lamar got hurt, allegedly. Lamar Jackson's injury scare. Turns out it's going to be okay. You can pull up that tweet, Delia. I believe that one's from Jess Raybick. The last one was from Jonas Schaefer. This one says, Ravens QB Lamar Jackson left practice about 40 minutes early with the strength and conditioning coach, Scott Elliott, next to him and team doctors trailing. Jackson got knocked down making a throw. He stayed in for a few plays, but appeared to be flexing his hand/wrist. And then Jez Raybick came out later, says a team spokesman said that Jackson just got his foot stepped on and he's fine. Now, what's wrong with what we just read right there?
Well, I'll tell you, and I'll give credit to Keeping It Real, our good friend Keeping It Real, who was on Twitter saying, listen, they a bunch of liars over there at the castle.
Liars.
First it was his wrist, then it was his foot. Now he's okay. Maybe he's not okay. Maybe there's something else wrong with him. Who knows? Hopefully he's okay. But like Killer Cam says here as well, they are clearly lying. They're not good at it, and they do it constantly. So we'll see. I don't suspect that there's anything major wrong with him.
Just so we're clear, right? If people didn't put 2 and 2 together, Jez Rabick said he got knocked down on the throw and he got up, moving, flexing his wrist, right?
That's because they stepped on his foot.
Okay. Yes. And the team is saying, oh no, he just got his foot stepped on. He's okay. He didn't go limping off the field. Right?
Yeah.
It's a wrist thing. Why are you lying about that? And this doesn't even, just Al says it's either a foot or hand. They lie. Lamar might be done for all we know.
Don't go there just that low.
But you never know.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing, because I remember Brashad Perryman. Do you guys remember Brashad Perryman where they said he was week to week and he ended up missing the whole season? Jay says, what dumbass on D-line would have put the franchise at jeopardy like that? If Lamar doesn't play, the families don't eat. Facts.
No, man. Defense wins championships, right? They're fine. They're fine. They got the best defense in the league. They good to go.
If you guys don't remember Brashad Perryman, yes, Brashad Perryman was supposed to be week to week, and every week Harbaugh saying he's close, and then finally to put him on injured reserve.
I mean, it was day to day for the entire year.
And here's the thing: I don't think that's the case right now.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case. But they're just used to lying to you. Like even when they don't need to lie, they just lie, right?
Yeah,
just because they don't like to put out any accurate information because they think that gives them some sort of competitive advantage. So they're just like, oh yeah, it's a foot thing. It's not a foot thing. They saw him grabbing his wrist. Just how it says defense wins championships. I hate you. LOL. Yeah. Well, hey, that's what they say. We got Adrian from Press Start 410 says we got Cooper Rush. We'll be fine.
It looks like the Broncos have agreed to a trade as well.
Okay.
The Broncos agreed to terms on a trade with the Saints for a 2026 fourth round pick and a 2027 seventh round pick in exchange for wide receiver Devon Vele.
I don't know who that is.
That's the guy they drafted, I believe, last year. But I guess he is on the move now for a fourth and a seventh. So, I mean, I don't know. Delia, I don't know if you have any reaction to that, but it would seem like a pretty decent return.
Okay. All right. She'll take it. Adelia is a Broncos fan. All right. So she's getting a thumbs up there. So that's a good move for them. But yeah, I think Lamar Jackson will be fine. I don't think it's something that's going to affect him going into week one. But I think it's just a reflexive thing for Harbaugh and this regime to just automatically lie, even when they don't need to. They could have easily said, yeah, he banged up his wrist a little bit, but that's not going to really bother him. They could have easily said that, but it's just in their nature to lie to you about these type of things.
Right, and business.
And this isn't exclusive to Harbaugh. Lots of coaches do this.
Yeah.
Lots of coaches do this. Yeah. Jay says, if Cooper Rush starts, then Harbaugh is going to have to actually coach, and y'all don't want to see that. Mark Andrews dependency type plays too early in the season. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If Lamar doesn't play, if he has to miss any significant amount of time, the jig is up. All right.
Look, if Lamar, let's just say if he were to start on PUP, y'all would start 0-6 probably. 1-5 or 0-6.
Oh, this year, absolutely.
Yeah. I was saying that Cleveland is the one game they might be able to win, even without Lamar, because they don't have a quarterback either. But them other games,
which is why we joke about it, right? And I say, hey, don't even worry about that backup position. Lamar don't play, you're done. But the reality is, they don't take that position serious. They don't take anything on offense serious, right? If we had a good enough backup, we can navigate through a couple of these games. It'd still be hard because I just don't think the offense is
and it's such a drop off from Lamar to anyone who is a backup quarterback at that level. I think it's a huge drop off regardless of who you have there. I
think even good quality starters in the NFL would struggle with this offense.
Yeah, no. Some definitely would. That's what I'm saying. Lamar is so good, it doesn't matter who you have as the backup because they're not going to be anywhere near the player that Lamar is. So like they would struggle regardless of who was in that position. But yeah, they don't put much effort into it at all. And I can almost get behind that, right? Like say, hey, you know what? If he goes down, we're done regardless. So, let's not bother with that backup quarterback spot. But then you have to pay extra attention to other positions. The last thing I wanted to mention from this game was the O-line, Daniel Faalele. And this is a real quick thing because, I always joke about how that's my guy and he's a Pro Bowler and all that stuff. But like just watching him, and it's not even that he had a terrible game, but just watching him for a guy who's 6'8" and almost 400 pounds or whatever he is, when he hits people, it just doesn't have the effect that you would think that it would have from a guy that size hitting you, right?
Yeah.
Like he on one play he was pulling on a run play and he made the block. He hit the defender. Defender ain't going nowhere. Like when you're that big, you need to be moving people out there. You need, like they call it, people mover, right?
Yeah.
When they snap the ball, whoever is unfortunate enough to be standing in front of Daniel Faalele should be going straight back. But that's just not how it happens with him.
He doesn't have that mean streak in him.
Yeah.
I know Coach Evans for Sip to Tally Films broke down his play tape. He played better this past week. And with him, it is what it is, right? I think it's one of those things where you want him to have more awareness out there. You want him to understand his assignment a little bit better. You don't want him standing out in the open not knowing who to block, right? If he can at least get in front of somebody, even if he's not, imposing his will on them, he's such a massive dude, right?
Yeah.
If he's in the right position, it's hard to get around him.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what they're trying to get to with him. But again, my whole issue is he's clearly learning on the job. So is Voorhees, right? Both of them are going to be learning on the job. And this is what you want to do with your starting guards, both guards, when you're trying to make a championship run and you hope it comes together at the end of the season. Obviously, I hope so too, because they're the starters. But that's not a plan. That's not a good plan.
No, it's not. But you said something in there when you're trying to make a championship run. Are we sure that they are?
Well,
they're one of those teams that they're fine as long as they're competitive. They're winning a certain number of games. They get to the playoffs. Fans are happy. They're not pushing for a championship.
No, they are making a championship run, whether they're taking it seriously or not. This is their window. They have a team good enough to win a Super Bowl. So they are making a championship run. I don't think they're out there intentionally trying to lose games. To be fair, Kill says to be fair to Voorhees does look good. All right, man. All right.
We'll see what looks good means when they actually start playing.
Yeah. I ain't trying to take nothing away from Voorhees.
Yeah.
Right. If he goes out there and plays well, thank God.
Right. And that's fine. That's all you can really ask during the preseason. Like, it's one of those things where if they're playing well, okay, it's fine, cool. And if they're playing poorly and getting beat, then it's alarming.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta wait until the actual season to see exactly how good they are. But certainly, for the preseason, yeah, it's fine.
If you had a proven veteran at right guard, Voorhees would be good. That's my whole problem, though. He's still learning on the job, right? We don't have that veteran guard, and we could have easily gotten a veteran guard. They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying, like, no, they're not intentionally trying to lose, right? They want to win. They just want to win their way, and it's just, I just don't agree with it, and it's definitely not as much as they could be doing. You know what I mean?
No, that's right. I don't mean they're intentionally trying to lose. They're at a place where they're comfortable and they're not pushing to get to that next level to really, try to bring a championship home. They're like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's also fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also, you mentioned Disa Isaac getting injured. There was another story that came out of this game. Not a story necessarily, but a quote from, I can't remember which defensive player it was, but talking about Travis Jones and asking how good Travis Jones will be. And this player again, I forget
Broderick Washington said if he stays
well,
healthy this year, he'll be the best nose tackle in the league.
Okay, super high praise. But that this is a guy that we've thought highly of. A lot of the draft analysts thought highly of, and has played well. Do you agree with Broderick that he has that kind of potential to be best in the league at his position?
Man, I don't know. Right? Like he has potential, I know when we drafted him, Vach Lombardi, right? Mm-hmm. He's a Cowboys fan, friend of coaches, really knows football, breaks down film. He was high on Travis Jones. He swore, hey, the Ravens got a first round talent in the third round, right? And he's definitely shown flashes of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, in fact, we kind of, because things didn't play out the way we wanted to that year. His rookie year, he did really well.
Yeah,
the time he got to play, and you can notice a difference when he wasn't in the game last year, versus when he was. So he could be that guy, mm-hmm. right? And this is his last year too, I believe, right? He's going to be a free agent after this year. This is somebody that. Yeah, somebody we're gonna have to look at. He could absolutely be that guy for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got the potential. But when you look around the league, there's a lot of guys with potential, right? Yeah. If you look at the best of every player, a lot of guys will have the potential to be top players in the league, and it's about your consistency. So whether or not he could be the best nose tackle in the league, one, that's a pretty short list. There's not a ton of nose tackles in the league. Not everybody uses them. And two, again, it's just about, like I said, you got to stay healthy and how consistent you can be. I don't think it's too much of a stretch, but I also think it's not like saying you're going to be the best D lineman in the league, right? Like, because like I said, the nose tackle is not as prevalent as some of these other positions. So sure. I mean, yeah, I guess he could if he stays healthy and he continues on his current trajectory, then yeah, and it looks like he's going to have at least one more year. He's played 3 years. He's going into his fourth year. So this is his last season.
Yeah.
That sucks. Hey, listen, take that all back. Listen, this is a great young man, a great young player. And honestly, we could use a guy like this in Carolina. So, yeah, go ahead and finish out your next 17, 18 games. I know they're not going to have more than that in Baltimore. And then come on down south. We've got all the money in the world. We'll give you whatever. Lord. And you can start next to Derrick Brown.
Hey, listen to Big Red. Says people hit the like, or some of y'all are going to leave here like JPP. All right. Wow. Shout out to JPP. Wow. All right.
Leave the Wonderkin alone, Reg.
The Wonderkin Morning Show. Nitro, is this a new channel? The Wonderkin Morning Show. Nitro says, if my QB is hurt, I promise I'm going to be insufferable. Okay. Got it. Oh, nice little logo there and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, if that's a new channel, make sure you go subscribe to the Wonderkin Morning Show. Subscribe to the Wonderkin Show. All right. I got Nitro doing great work over there. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, those are all the main points I wanted to hit. I mean, listen, they're playing Washington this week. Washington and Baltimore should be an annual regular season game, the Battle of the Beltway.
Yeah.
Right. But preseason is still a game that people show up to. Actually, my sister's going. She's trying to get me to go. I might show up there. We'll see. That's a game. Even in preseason, fans love going to those games. All right. So, what I want to see in this game, stay healthy. I really liked. Hey, love you too, Nitro.
That Nitro.
I want to see people stay healthy. I've seen everything I need to see from the defense, I think. Mm-hmm. Right. Just stay healthy. The O-line needs more work. I want to see Voorhees and Falele getting some work. Carson Vincent, I want to see him get some more work too. I think he's on the bubble to make the roster. That's somebody I wouldn't mind them stashing and developing some more. That's somebody that could turn into a starter at some point because we're gonna need some.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. What I want to see from this game is just like that for both teams, everybody coming out healthy. This is the last preseason week before the season starts. Obviously, especially he wasn't going to play anyway, but especially with the injury scare, Lamar's not going to be playing in this one.
No.
I wouldn't expect to see very many starters out there. I want to see Tez see if we can continue the strong performance from last week. Outside of that, I'm not looking for a whole lot out of this game. I think the biggest thing to come from this kind of this area would be if the Commanders have taken their head out of their whats and signed Terry McLaurin and gotten him back on the field, because I promise you, if your plan is to just replace him with Deebo Samuels, you're going to be very disappointed in the outcome.
Are they trading Brian Robinson?
They're trying to.
What are they gonna do at running back?
Oh, they've got their new running back. They love this kid, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He likes to go by Bill.
Okay.
He broke off like a 20-some yard touchdown run in the last game. They love him, so he is going to be the starter. They haven't announced that, but it's the worst kept secret in the world. I was very disappointed because I went to every fantasy league that I'm in, and he's already on rosters. So I'm gonna have to hit up our brother and see if I can get a trade done there.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Brian Robinson, they're trying to move him out. I don't know what you're really going to get for Brian Robinson. He's kind of just a guy, not a bad player, but not a difference-making player by any stretch of the imagination. And they have a difference-making player, like I said, in Terry McLaurin, who they are just refusing to pay. And this is a team that made it to the conference championship last year. You don't want to have a piece as vital as Terry McLaurin sitting out. I picked them to be one of my regression candidates. Who's I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, and
Really?
they seem to be helping me along with that prediction. Yeah,
wow.
I think the Cowboys are going to be back. The Cowboys are going to be good, and they had a lot of. I don't know how this is going to sound, but they had a lot of luck last year on their side. And typically when you are good in those one-score games, you win a lot of those. You have a lot of fourth down conversions and things like that. It kind of goes back the other way eventually. I think typically the following season.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I think 3 teams can come out the NFC East this year.
Wow, are you just gonna kick Tampa Bay out the playoffs like that? Man, that's rough. That's rough.
It could be. I'm not saying it's for sure, right? But I don't know, man. Could be. Like I think it'll come down to the end of the season, but I think Commanders are going to be good. Listen, Jaden Daniels, I don't think that was a fluke by any means. You have some rookies that get out to a hot start, and there are things that they were doing that the coaching staff did a good job just keeping up for that year. And the next year, defenses make adjustments and they struggle a little bit, and then they make the adjustment and then they kind of grow from there. Jaden Daniels just looked like he knew what he was doing. Very mature for a rookie. It wasn't like any gimmicky plays. He was just making right reads and just playing good football.
Sure.
And I think that's going to change this year.
Adrian saying 30 mil a season for 1,100 yards might be a reach. I wouldn't give that to Metcalf either. We're talking about Terry McLaurin. Metcalf got 30 mil a year, and McLaurin is a much better receiver than DK Metcalf.
Terry McLaurin can get 1,100 yards with Cooper Rush as a quarterback. He can get 1,100 yards with anybody as his quarterback. A guy like that, you pay.
Yeah,
and he proved it in the playoffs that he's worth it.
Mm-hmm. But what I was saying, Washington last year was 8-4 in one-score games. Typically, that kind of luck doesn't continue. That kind of stuff, that stuff kind of reverses and comes back to the mean. And especially on a team where you're not getting better, because subtracting Terry McLaurin or replacing Terry McLaurin with Deebo Samuel is not getting better. Right. So I agree that Jaden Daniels wasn't a fluke or anything like that. He's the real deal. But if you take away his number one receiver and you just trot him out there and you say, hey, you got Deebo now, I don't think it's going to go great.
All right. So that's something to look at too. That's a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. Will there be a drop off? Lots of talent on the team, but they have some things that they got to figure out. Yeah, I think even though it's a preseason game, that's going to be fun to watch. Nacho says, hey, are y'all getting ready for the hurricane? I don't think the hurricane is going to really affect this area that much.
No. I haven't checked today. The last I saw, it is going to be hitting the Carolinas potentially. So, obviously we're wishing the best for everybody in that area. They're talking about potentially 20-foot waves on the coast there. But like I said, I haven't checked today. There was also the possibility that it would just turn out to sea. So hopefully that's what happened. But it's not going to reach where we are. So.
Yeah. All right. We got another NFL story. Do we want to just make this the court of public opinion so we can kind of move things along? We can talk. You want to do the Kaepernick thing, or you? Look. We got the Colts QB situation, and we got the Kaepernick documentary that didn't happen. I have both of those on the docket. We can discuss both of them if you want. We can maybe shift one over to the overtime show. It's up to you.
I think we can probably shift the Kaepernick thing to the overtime show because there's not a whole lot there. They did cancel it, but then there's the sources saying it was canceled a year ago and it's just coming out now. So I mean,
I have some thoughts about that.
Oh, I'm sure you have thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, as far as the story itself, it's just, hey, this show got canceled.
Yes,
possibly a year ago.
Look who's here! It is Danity. What's going on, Danity? Says, hey everyone. Danity? Hit the like and subscribe button. Newsletter, LBHTShow.com. Yes, Cash App, $LBHT Show. And super chats are available. Yes, thank you, Danity. Salute. And yes, I didn't put out the newsletter last week. That's going to go out this week. But the first newsletter did go out. But sign up if you haven't signed up already, and you'll get a new newsletter this week. I think everybody enjoyed the first one. The next one will be just as fun. We try to make it a little interactive for you guys. So check it out. No 2-hour shows are not back. Pay the bills. They are not.
They were never a thing. They can't be back. But we can go talk Daniel Jones a little bit here. Daniel Jones named the starter in Indianapolis over Anthony Richardson. First question: is Anthony Richardson done in Indy?
Yes, he's done. His agent came out on, did an interview with ESPN, basically laying the groundwork for a trade request. Yeah. Right. They said that, hey, the minute they paid Daniel Jones $14 million to come here, the writing was on the wall. He's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. And he kind of suggested that maybe they were telling Richardson that he had a fair shot at keeping his starting job, and didn't really look that way, right? He said he had a good camp, a couple of mistakes here and there, but he played, he did pretty well, which again, when you lose your job, Daniel Jones, it's a wrap. Not necessarily. In this case, yes, but we just saw the Panthers, what happened over there. Bryce Young lost his job to Andy Dalton. And we did think that. We did think this could be the end, but it wasn't the end, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes your young quarterback has to just sit for a little bit and develop, right?
Yeah.
And that could be the case with Richardson, but they didn't plan for it. The whole thing is, it's not always just about the quarterback and their talents. How does that organization support that quarterback? How do they develop that quarterback? You look at what Green Bay did with not just Aaron Rodgers, but also Jordan Love now. Both quarterbacks had to sit for 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? But they drafted both of them in the first round, knowing that they were going to sit. Like, especially Jordan Love. Like, Aaron Rodgers, I think that was a little bit of Brett Favre not wanting to give up the mantle
Yeah.
Jordan Love, they plan for this. They like, no, you're going to sit, you're going to develop, and they're fine with it. Even Kansas City sat Pat Mahomes that first year, right? These are organizations that had plans for their franchise QB. The Colts were like, this is a guy that was raw. He needed time to develop, but let's throw him out there. Some guys, you can do that. You can throw them out there and they learn on the job. There's going to be some ups and downs, and you got to be able to roll with it. And they didn't do that with Anthony Richardson. They completely fumbled the bag with this. Attitude pop was going on since Anthony Richardson looked better than Jones in preseason before he got hurt his first game. That was his first drop back, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was his first, but I think it was pretty early.
He looked promising, and he started this past Saturday. He looked good, better than Stinking Jones. Yeah, that first game, I think he got hurt on like the first or second play, man. Like, he didn't show anything in that first game. Second game, yeah. They don't like. They have similar numbers. They have similar stats, right? Or at least complete completion percentage. Daniel Jones not have a good completion percentage. The thing is this. I understand where Shane Steichen is coming from, where he wants a veteran guy out there that he feels can do more of the things that he wants to do, despite the lack of talent that quarterback might have. A lot of coaches do that. Hey, this guy is talented, but he knows my playbook. He can follow directions a little bit better right now. I want the safer pick. The problem is, it's clear that Richardson's ceiling is way higher than Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Right? Daniel Jones, I think his career high is 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
15 passing touchdowns. That's not like that. And that's who he is. He's not going to get any better than that. So you're not going to win. So you make a move like this when you're trying to win. You're trying to secure your job. That is, hey, these other guys are ready to go. We have enough talent. We can be competing now. We need a quarterback that's ready to go. This guy is a quarterback of the future, but he can't start right now. This guy's ready to go. That's not the situation you have with Daniel Jones. Your team isn't ready to compete right now. Daniel Jones isn't going to win you more games. And you're still going to get fired.
Yeah.
Right?
Agent says Jones got $14 million. Hard to sit a guy who's getting paid more than the starter. I mean, not when the starter's on a rookie deal, and you drafted him in the top 5. They're starting Daniel Jones, like Jose said, because the coach is panicking a bit. Yeah. He's probably going now. I mean, maybe he doesn't with Jim Irsay just passing away. Maybe they don't want to have any more upheaval in the franchise, but it's not looking good for him for his future. And you look at Anthony Richardson and you say, hey, this guy's not going to win me more games. This guy's still too raw. I need to do something here to secure my future as the head coach of the Colts. Maybe go have a conversation with your GM, because he didn't put you in a good spot even for that plan B, right? Because Daniel Jones, like you said, Daniel Jones is garbage. He sucks. He's not a good football player. He's one of those guys that we talk about where I say, there's more guys than ever who can play the quarterback position, more than there's ever been physically, right? But the league does not have the coaching to bring these guys along. They don't have the patience to bring these guys along. Daniel Jones can do everything on the field. He's faster than Tyreek Hill, right? So even when you talk about being a dual threat, like, he's a very athletic guy. He's got the arm, he's got the size and everything, but nobody taught him how to play quarterback. That was kind of a big selling point. He went to Duke and he was with their QB whisperer. Okay, but that was college. You need to teach him how to play in the pros, and that didn't happen. Which is why the Green Bay has been so successful. They sit guys and make them learn how to play the game before they toss them out there to lead the team. I used to kind of go back and forth on that and say, hey, some guys need that, but there's great players who don't need that. And now I'm more on the side of just everybody would benefit from sitting early in their career. Everybody.
So if these coaches and GMs were better at their jobs, because let's be real about it, it's something that we don't talk about. Shane Steichen isn't good at his job. Who's the GM over there right now? He's not good at his job. we don't discuss that part of it. Daniel Jones has made $108 million, which I was as good as him at stealing money. Facts. But when you have front offices that aren't good at their job, you don't have coaches that are good at their job, you get things like this. It's not hard when you have a guy that you have like paying for your future franchise QB. It's the formula is not hard. You go get a solid veteran. He may not be great, but he can keep things going while you're building up the rest of your team and your quarterback is developing. And there's plenty of quarterbacks that can bridge that gap. Mm-hmm. Teddy Bridgewater just signed. Who's with Tampa? He's with Tampa now. Teddy Bridgewater has always been a solid quarterback, and you could bring him in there for a year, even two, and give you solid quarterback play and have you competitive, and he can help develop your young quarterback. He just coached a high school team to a state championship his first year coaching. He can mentor. He knows the game, right? You have Jacoby Brissett out there. There's a bunch of veteran quarterbacks out there that you can get that will stabilize your team better than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones doesn't bring anything to the table.
And Daniel Jones isn't, he's not in a position where he's looking to mentor anybody. He's trying to keep his career going. Yeah. He wants to be a starter. He's a year removed from being a $40 million quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to, he don't want to come in there and teach Anthony Richardson how to play. He wants to play.
Yeah. All right.
That's why he went to Indianapolis, because he knew that going into Indy, like they don't want Anthony Richardson to have that job at this point. They're looking for somebody to take it from him. And, enter Daniel Jones.
That's what a bad organization looks like, though. They can't identify the quarterback that they want, because that's the problem they have here. You drafted a quarterback that you didn't actually want, right? Anthony Richardson isn't anything that Anthony Richardson is doing out there is not a surprise to anybody or the organization. It shouldn't be, right? We knew what he was. If you thought he's going to go in there and be a complete quarterback from day one or by week 6, then you're doing a terrible job evaluating talent, right? He's going to ask for a trade. Hopefully he goes to a team that can just say, hey, we have a plan for you, because he has a high ceiling, but it's just going to take some time with him. All right. What else we got?
Let's see. We can talk about the Panthers and Steelers a little bit real quick and some of the things that we can expect from that game or things that we'll be looking for from that game. Carolina's been awful the first couple of weeks. They haven't gotten any chemistry going with their first team offense, really. They had one drive in their first game where they looked competent. The defense has been getting shredded for a couple of weeks. And the starters are not going to be playing in this one. At least, Bryce Young is not going to be playing, and any of their veterans aren't going to be playing. So there's not a ton to take from it, other than Canales is going to be calling the plays for the first time, and their defensive coordinator Evero is going to be calling the plays as well. That was not the case for the first couple of weeks. They let some of their staff members call the games.
They let the pass game the defense pass game coordinator and the linebacker coach call weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then Brad Idzik, who's the offensive coordinator, called. I want to say he called both weeks 1 and 2, but they're letting those guys get some experience doing that, and that's fine. In this game, they're Canales and Evero are going to be taking on those roles, and really, what I want to see from Carolina is for them to fight back, because right up until this point, the NFL is putting them in the corner and just wailing on them, and Carolina's like, it's fine, it doesn't hurt that much, it's fine, I'm still standing here, like, it's okay. Like, you need to vent, go ahead. Like, no, man, like, start swinging back. All right,
yeah.
Back them off of you, get out of the corner, and show them that you're here to play, because that's not been the case so far. Hopefully we'll see some of that with Bryce Perkins. I know he wants to get back into the NFL, I'm sure. And like I said, Xavier Legette still, I mean, try to get one of them targets your way, man. Jay says we don't have to worry about teams taking our assistants right now. Well, no, Jay, The season's just starting. That doesn't happen till the end of the year. All right. Carolina's going to be division champions. They're going to make a run in the playoffs, and then everybody's going to want Brad Idzik. Okay. Have some faith, Jay. I can't with Jay, man. Jay will come in here. He will tell you that, hey, that 5'3" slow point guard is the next coming of Chris Paul on the Lakers. Like, just give him some time. But in Carolina, it's just all doom and gloom. Whatever.
Look, I want to see, yes, much like you, I want to see the defense get after it. I want to see, all around, I want to see the team get after it, have a more sense of urgency. I would have liked to see Bryce Young play a little bit more this preseason, because, the trend in the NFL is teams kind of use the first couple of weeks of the regular season as preseason now, since they have the extra game and they give these players time to ramp up, so they're not playing all 17 games. I don't think if you're a team that's rebuilding, right, you want to take any weeks off. I think the early it's same thing in the NBA. I tell B this all the time. If you're a bad team in the NBA, the beginning of the season is where you want to really push to win those early games before the good teams start to ramp it up, right? The good teams, they take their time and they try to stay around 500 going into the All-Star break. And then after the All-Star break, they ball out, right? It's a long season. It's a marathon. They're saving their best for the playoffs. In the NFL, you're starting to see that now. You're starting to see teams like the Chiefs, even the Eagles, like you look at those teams that are really compete for championships. I think they have a chance. They're going to, they're not putting all their efforts into the early part of the season. I think if you're a team like the Panthers, that's where you can catch teams sleeping and you can get those early wins. And then hopefully you build off of that throughout the season and get some more wins down the stretch. And that's what gets you into the playoffs. So they got to take preseason more serious, right? So you're right. You work on those things you need to right now and be ready for the start of week one.
Sure. I think there's also something to be said for a team like Carolina, who I think they've got a certain level of confidence in their starters, particularly on offense.
Yeah.
And just wanting to get some of those other guys in there to try and get them ready just in case. But either way, I'm not too worried about it. It's been ordained. We've talked about this before. The last two times Carolina made the Super Bowl, they started the season on the road at Jacksonville, and they're starting the season on the road at Jacksonville. So, Super Bowl incoming. But this is just, I want to enjoy the ride too, right?
Right.
I know where we're going, but I want to enjoy the journey getting there. So I'd like to see them playing better early in the season. But they're going to beat the brakes off of the Jaguars come week one.
You think so?
Beat the brakes off. Listen. Teteroa already bullied Travis Hunter in college, just like Io Manor did. And ain't nothing going to change about that in the NFL. Okay. Well, actually, something is going to change about it. His former teammate Jimmy Horn is going to beat the brakes off of him too in the NFL.
Don't give away too much, because next week we start making the picks again.
All right, listen. 17-0. I already said it, so what the pick is.
Oh, my bad. Right.
But I'll let you know how bad it's going to be next week. I'll let you know how many yards Teteroa McMillan is going to have on Travis Hunter next week. But yeah. Okay. How many wins will they need to make the playoffs this season from DJ Amp? I think they're probably going to need 10. I think 10 wins in the division and gets them into the postseason.
Yeah. They're going to have to fight for it, but they can get it.
Yeah. They've got 6 in division already, so 7 when you count Jacksonville. So, they're looking pretty good so far. But yeah, right. Nick Scorton, the edge rusher that they just drafted in the second round, well ahead of Mike Green because he's much better than Mike Green. Sat out this past week. He had a collapsed lung that came on because of the heat in Houston where they were practicing. They had joint practices with the Texans prior to the game. So they drove him home. They say he's doing all right. So I'm not sure if he's actually going to play in this game. I would probably just hold him out. And let Princely go out there and get some more snaps. But these two they've looked like the real deal so far. Not eye-popping numbers or anything, but you watch them, they look like they are as advertised. So I'm pretty excited to see that defensive line coming together. Derek Brown is back. He's one of the top D tackles in the league. These young edge rushers, DJ Wanham out there as well. So I think the front part of the defense is going to be solid. The back end, we'll see. We'll see. The middle part of that linebacker spot that's something they're going to have to address in the draft next year, and free agency, both, because it is not looking good at this point. But outside of that, I think it's tough to say that the defense is going to step up this week, like you're alluding to, because I don't think any of those guys are going to be playing, any of the starters, any of the difference makers. So it's really going to be all just about the attitude this week.
The rotation, I think, matters more so for your team. Like those, you need some guys that you can rotate in and give you some quality snaps.
Like I said, next draft, next free agency, they're going to get those guys. Right now, they have that on the D line. They have Derek Brown, they got Bobby Brown, they got Wharton. At edge, they've got Wanham and Scorton and Umamilan and Pat Jones, who they just signed in free agency. So they've got a nice mix on the D line. They're not solid at starter at the linebacking core. They got Trevin Wallace, who was a third-round pick last year. Yeah. They got Christian Roseboom, who started about half a season for the Rams last year, and that's really it. When you go back to the secondary, they've got J.C. Horn. They've got Mike Jackson, who looks like he could be a solid starter for them as well. Charles Smith-Wade, I think, is going to play an important role for him. Yeah. They don't have a whole lot behind those guys. Then at safety, you're looking at Trayvon Morig, who they just signed in free agency. He was a good starter, but then across from him, it's a mess. So it's going to be tough. And if you're talking about just this preseason game with most of those guys sitting out, I don't think it's going to look so great. It's just going to be about the attitude and the effort this week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Good friends, better rivals. Salute says, I think Carolina wins the South. Okay.
Thank you very much. And that's why that's such a great show.
Yeah, Derek Brown, Bobby Brown, Antonio Brown, and Paul Brown on that line. Yeah. So, what do you think about Trey Hendrickson, the possibility of trading for Trey Hendrickson? You're one of the favorites to land him.
The favorite, according to DraftKings, if he plays somewhere other than Cincinnati. If they can get that done, I will stand up. I will look Dan Morgan dead in the eye, and I will say, "Why didn't you just get Micah Parsons? If you could pull something like this off." But no, if they get Trey Hendrickson, I'll be happy about that. He is an elite pass rusher. He is getting a little older. He just turned 30. Most teams don't like to pay guys who are on the wrong side of that number, but they're at a point right now. Bryce is still on his rookie deal, and they have got to start pouring money into the team on both sides, but particularly on defense. So if they're able to go out and make a trade for Trey Hendrickson, I'd be all for that.
I don't understand why Cincinnati just won't pay him.
Well, I mean, and they knew this would happen, right? They paid Joe Burrow, they paid Jamar Chase, they paid T. Higgins, and now other people are asking for money. And if they pay Trey, what's next?
I mean, their window's kind of right now too. They went to the Super Bowl, but you pay all these guys. You don't pay them to rebuild. You're paying them because you're trying to make another run at it, right? So pay Trey Hendrickson.
Is their window right now? Because
I didn't say it's a good. They have a good chance of winning, but yes, the window's now. I think absolutely. Yeah, this is the window. You have everything. You have all the talent you need. Yes, they need more on defense, but they went in all in on offense. They have what they need to win.
I don't think they have what they need to win though. The defense is so bad. I don't think that we can realistically look at this. They weren't a playoff team last year. They don't look significantly improved.
So what's the guy's name that they drafted? Shamar Stewart. They drafted him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say hopefully. They're hoping that he can play well. You had Trey Hendrickson that is one of the better defenders in the league. You don't subtract from that side, right? You draft and you hope some of those guys stand out, and you hope that the defense is good enough. This is what we talked about with the Ravens, and we say defund the defense, right? Your defense needs to be good enough, make plays at the right time, but you want to invest in the offense, and that's kind of what they did. On that side, like, yes, they put a lot of money on the offensive side, and we're not saying don't put anything on the defensive side, but I say you keep Trey Hendrickson, you drafted Samar Stewart, and I'm not sure what they got in the rest of the draft, but you hope some of those guys step up and do enough. Yes, this is their window. I'm not saying it's wide open, but this is their window to win.
Sure, no, I understand what you mean, but I just, like I said, when you look at the team that they had, right, last year, they went 9-8.
Yeah.
Missed the playoffs despite Joe Burrow having an MVP caliber season. Despite Jamar Chase being the Triple Crown winner. Despite T. Higgins going out there and being T. Higgins as the number 2 receiver in Cincinnati, who's really a number 1. And that wasn't good enough to get them even to the postseason, let alone making any kind of a run at a Super Bowl. They
lost a lot of close games though, and we talked about, right, a lot of times those games go one way one year, they go the other way the next year.
Sure, that assuming things are equal, right? Like if you come back, but they've let that defense degrade so much.
Yeah,
like you're watching them out here getting just shredded by other teams' backups. Yeah. And Trey Hendrickson doesn't fix that. Obviously you want to keep him, but he's not going to make them a good defense. Adrian says since he lost 4 games in which they scored 30 points and they were 2-2 when they scored 35 plus points. Yeah. And yeah, that's fine. But I know the 2 of those games were against Baltimore, and they're not going to beat Baltimore. So I don't think I on one hand, obviously you bring back Trey, you try to build the defense. On the other hand, I sort of get it. They're like, hey, having Trey Hendrickson here is not going to change the fortunes of this defense. And paying him $40 million a year from now till when he's 34, 35, we'll run it back next season.
Do they invest in a younger player then?
I mean, listen, if you could convince Dallas to swap their headache for yours, you do that. But you're not going to do that because neither one of them wants to pay their guy, right? So like that and if Dallas was going to pay somebody, it would be Micah Parsons that they were going to pay.
Thank you for breaking news. Just Al says Zach Orr has a strained calf. Appreciate that.
They needed to go much harder in free agency, on the defensive side of the ball, and they didn't. So I think they decided that they're just going to take it on the chin this year and come back next year and try to revamp the defense.
Good friends, Red Arrival says it was like Khalil Mack with the Raiders. That defense was bad, but without him, it was atrocious. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, But with a bad defense, they are probably the 3rd best team in that division.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And Adrian, and this is the sticking point, right? He's saying supposedly they agree on average annual value, but don't want to give any guarantees beyond season 1 because he's over 30. They don't want to pay any guaranteed money out to him, in that 31, 32, 33, 34, years. And he's not going to get younger. So,
apparently they don't want to do that for Shamar Stewart either, right?
Well, listen, that's a whole different thing. I told you, if you're in Cincinnati, the thing is, we're not going to pay you if you're over 30, but we're not going to pay you if you're under 30.
Yeah.
So, it's like you got to get that.
If you can fit in between somewhere,
if you can get the contract signed within the 1 second of your birth as you're going from 29 to 30, then you're good. But if you wait too long, then we gotta ship you out. So the talk is they want draft picks plus a young player. You're not going to get that because whoever is trading for him has to pay him $40 million a year. Just get your draft picks and hope and pray your defense can improve throughout the season, and then come back and really attack it the next year.
Yeah, all they need is an okay defense like the Super Bowl appearance year. That's what I'm saying though. That's why I'm saying you pay him, and your draft picks work out. You add a veteran here and there, and they just have to be good enough.
But we're past that point of adding anything to the defense. So that's the thing.
But Cincinnati is, like I was telling you before, like when we talk about the Ravens and how they're not doing everything that they need to do to win. We don't believe, but they're not actively trying to lose. I've always had this feeling about Cincinnati since they hired Marvin Lewis that they are actively trying to not win. They just want to stay in that little spot of winning enough games, because every time they have a team where it's like, oh yeah, they can go all the way. Like they just need to do this and that. They go the opposite route, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, we're too good. Let's take away from this team because we don't want to be that good. That's what it feels like. I know that's not what it is, but that's what it feels like when they do stuff like this.
Right.
They were in Super Bowl not too long ago. You build off of that. Your window is now, and it's like they're like, nah, that's too much. We don't want to do that again.
Sure. And here's the other part of it too, though. We talk about how they lost a bunch of close games last year, and they played so great. You can't rely on the offense playing that well again. I mean, you had career years from Burrow and Jamar Chase, almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns from T. Higgins. Like, you're not going to get all three of those guys playing that well all season again.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you kind of wrap your head around that, the defense being as bad as it is kind of a death knell for the season. Yeah. And so they're saying, hey, you know what? We just don't want to pay Trey.
To be fair, they could have let Higgins walk and built up the defense. Paying him might have been a bad decision. I don't know. I mean, it's a decision that they made.
Listen, we talk about how they got to the Super Bowl a couple of years. That's how they got to the Super Bowl. Is those three. So, I mean, if you're going to pay, you pay those guys, and then you just have to, you have to do a better job of trying to fill in the gaps on defense and on the O-line and things like that. And they haven't.
What's up, Osman? Osman says, hello, all. Better late than never. Yeah, you're a little late, but that's okay.
You're very late because this is the end.
We're doing submitted questions, and we are getting up out of here. We're going to go to the overtime show. What are we discussing on the overtime show? A little boxing entertainment, okay? That is going to be our guy, Tank Davis, taking on Jake Paul.
Your guy.
He's still my guy, man. I don't agree. I don't condone this, okay? But he decided he wanted a little quick money grab, do a little exhibition fight with Jake Paul coming up in November. Before I ain't sure if he's going to do that rematch with
no, that's the thing, and that's why I have a big problem with it. He was supposed to be doing that rematch sometime this month. Was the talk, and obviously it didn't, never got finalized. But the other day, Lamont Roach came out and said, "Yeah, that rematch isn't happening." They tried to get in touch with Davis's people, and they're just, they're not hearing anything back. He's like, it looks like it's not happening. And then a couple of days later, you find out why. He's pulling out of a rematch with a guy who very nearly beat him to go fight Jake Paul in an exhibition match.
Yeah. I don't like that. These are type of moves. Even if he went and did that rematch, knocked out Lamar Roach, like we all kind of felt like was going to happen. Don't do these fights yet, right? Mm-hmm. Do that at the end of your career, and you just want to do it for fun, make a little money. Look, he's going to make a lot of money. I get that. He's going to make a whole. This might be his biggest paycheck. We'll talk more about that in the overtime show. But this is a little preview of what we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss that and some other sports news. So check that out, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Also, if you're a YouTube member, you will get access to the overtime show. It is already pinned in your in the post. Go into the post tab. The link will be there. So go ahead and sign up and check it out. All the new members tonight, just look in that tab, and the link will be there for the overtime show. Just Alice says Dana White is trying to get rid of a law that protects boxers, talking about the Muhammad Ali Act. We'll discuss that more in the overtime show as well. I don't think they're gonna get rid of it, but they can water it down. I think that is gonna happen. Dana White's a terrible person. Okay, I can't stand him.
And Turkey. But I mean, he's on board with that too. He's also a terrible person.
Yes, agreed. All right, Submitted questions. What we got, B?
We got, I believe, one submitted question here from D Weezy. Let me pull it back up. Give me 1 second. It looks like Derek is asking. Oh, wait, that's not the right post. That is the post that you just put up here. Give me this. Okay. Derek's asking, will we see a Super Bowl internationally within the next 10 years?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, not. I mean, the way this regime is setting things back, I don't, I don't think we're going to be welcome a lot of places.
I don't think that we're going to see it within the next 10 years. I mean, we've already got, they obviously planned several years ahead. I think it's going to be a lot longer. And I think we're going to have to see a team already relocated overseas before we see Super Bowl overseas.
Yeah.
It's too much money over here. Let me tell you something. When they're playing a Super Bowl in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I'm going to be livid. All right, because I can't afford to get to a Super Bowl here, and I can't I can't get the tickets. Like, even if I had the money, you couldn't get them because they disappear into the ether as soon as they're available. And for you to just say, you know what, we're gonna hop across the pond and just give the Super Bowl to, I mean, and look, I know there are fans over there, but it's not like the most popular sport in the UK, obviously.
You know what's going to happen,
just going to say, hey, you guys have it.
You know what would happen? They would do just like how they do pay-per-view for us for boxing. The tickets would cost $20,000 for us. And for the Europeans, it would cost like $300. Yeah.
They'd be like, oh man, $150 for sideline seats? No, thank you.
I mean, they're gonna play in London. That's the worst stadium. That's the worst stadium. What's the best stadium to play in? Die Hard Arsenal fan. Okay, I see. I got you. Jeremy says, I can see Goodell doing a deal with Saudi Arabia for international Super Bowl. I don't know that happens. Goodell doesn't have the power to make that deal. That would be the owners that would have to sign off on that. And they're way too conservative to be like, yeah, let's go to Saudi Arabia to have the Super Bowl. Brazil and Germany.
Those aren't the only. I could see him having it in Mexico City.
I can see that.
Or in Canada.
Well, again, we're about to go to war with Mexico, B. You didn't hear what the president said?
Well, but again, is it international if it's the 51st state holding it? Canada's not really okay. But no, I'm saying no on the next 10 years thing, but I do think it will happen eventually. And like I said, I will be livid.
Yeah, because
especially since this show's about to blow up, and I'm going to have the money to get Super Bowl tickets, and then you're going to take it away.
You know what? Yes, you're right. This show's about to blow up, and we got to get our media credentials for what they call that week where all the media people show up and get to interview. No, it's called I guess it's Media Week. Yeah. We're gonna have to show that one year.
Yeah. It says there are so many soccer leagues in Europe who are going to Saudi Arabia for things. I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be disgusted, but not shocked. Yeah, that disgusted but not shocked is that is the state of most things in sports right now, right? Disgusted but not shocked.
Yeah, Rihanna season is throwing big bucks. Yeah. Not a sustainable model by any means, but that's where we're at right now. All right. That was the only question?
Yes.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Adelia, thank you. That was the first episode with Adelia. Thank you very much. Way more efficient show.
Yes.
It's only going to get smoother from here on out. Thank you everybody for watching. Look, one more week of preseason, and then we're talking about the regular season. And me and B got a lot of things that we're cooking up for you. When we're quiet in the off season, don't think that we're not working on things. We're working on a lot of things, and you will see. You'll see what we're working on coming up here soon. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. Also sign up for our newsletter at LBHTShow.com. The newsletter is coming out. I put the last one out over the weekend. I try to do it on a weekend, but maybe I'll put it out tomorrow or Friday or Sunday. Okay. Now, just go sign up. All right. It doesn't cost you anything. Just give us your email address. All right. Put it in there.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. Just give us your data.
Yeah. Buy some merch while you're over there too. Okay. LBHTShow.com. All right. B.
Just Allo says time to sleep. We got to do the overtime show before the live show 1 week for Just Allo.
Oh yeah. We'll switch it up. We'll switch it up for you. Oh, I was gonna say, B, are you ready? Adelia, are you ready? Adelia is ready. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Peace.